After a long wait, it's finally here. The day of reckoning has arrived for the final round of the YMF Loans Australian Superbike Championship. And Eastern Creek is the stage for all the drama to be played out and for champions to be crowned. 3 championships will be decided today, and every rider will be treating every race as if it's their last in the pursuit of glory and a just reward for a long and demanding campaign. For the Superbikes, Jamie Stouffer has been godlike in season 06. The softly spoken superstar was given the task of finally delivering a Superbike crown to the Yamaha factory camp at the start of the season. And with 2 races to go, Jamie already has 1 glove on the biggest prize in the game.
If I just go out there and ride around, you know, we should be fine and win it, but you know, you got a chance of getting taken out by someone else. So yeah, hopefully we can go out today and just do what we normally do and you know, hopefully win a race and win a championship.
The only man with the power to stop the march of the man in blue is privateer and fan favourite Russell Holland. 2006 almost didn't happen for Russell after a dismal 05 campaign. 12 months on, Russell Holland now stands proudly as the best privateer to grace the local scene and as the only thing that can come between Yamaha and the silverware they crave.
Jamie's out there this weekend. He knows that he's got a big lead, but he knows that he can't afford to make any mistakes either. So if we'll just go out and do the best that we can, and if something happens to him, then we'll be right there for it.
With the top 2 safely adrift at the pointy end of the table, the real battle coming into the definitive round of the season could be between Suzuki riders Andrew Stroud and Robbie Bugden. Stroud occupies 3rd spot and sits 26 laps away from a dream finish to what has already been a dream season for the modest Kiwi.
I think it's been, you know, everything we could have ever expected, ever hoped for, really. First time in, you know, learning all the new tracks and things. And if we can hang on to 3rd, I think it'll be more than satisfactory.
Stroud will not be resting easy though, because the notoriously determined Robbie Bugden of Team Yoshimura Suzuki will be nipping at his heels.
We got a fair shot at finishing up 3rd in the championship this weekend, so that'd obviously be pretty nice for myself and for the whole team who's put in a huge effort all year.
The destination of the YMF Loans Australian Supersport crown was decided in round 6 by another emphatic display from Mr. Consistency, Jamie Stouffer. Whilst top spot is a done deal, the battle below is nothing of the kind, with 3 ambitious young riders locking horns for the final podium placings. With the withdrawal of Joe Rocket Honda rider Glenn Allerton, it's become an internal war in Camp Yamaha between 3 very different R6 pilots. The meticulous Mark Aitchison, the gung-ho Jason O'Halloran, and the quiet achiever Jeremy Crow will all be pushing their machinery to the very limit in pursuit of race wins and bragging rights.
Winning brings championships, so I'm just going to abide by that and just push hard for these race wins.
Oh, I want it so bad, you know. I've been training so hard all year, and hopefully it comes good at the end.
We pretty much just got to win. We'll be pushing for that, and hopefully we can come away with the win today.
This is it. A long, tough season ends today, and one last trip to the edge is all that separates these men from success or failure on Australia's finest bike racing stage, the YMF Loans Australian Superbike Championship. Plenty of talent down on the grid for the YMF Loans Australian Supersport Championship. Race 1 of 2 today that we're going to show you. Jamie Stouffer, well, an unassailable lead out in front. Aitchison in 2nd, O'Halloran 3rd, and Glenn Allerton. What a battle that is for 2nd place here today. And Jeremy Crow right in the mix as well. Do not adjust your set, folks. You are not seeing quadruple. It's not the Yamaha R6 precision riding team, but it may as well be. Aitchison, Crow, Stouffer, O'Halloran, Geronimi, Judd Greedy. Thank goodness there's a Honda in there in the hands of Judd Greedy.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting race. I love this class. Always very competitive, always very entertaining. Race 1 is underway.
Well, the number 1 rider in this category, Jamie Stouffer, has long since wrapped up the championship, but this man here, Mark Aitchison, always hoping for big things. Look at the ground rushing by on this awesome Caprice onboard shots.
Incredible, isn't it? Under brakes he goes down into turn 1. There's the gaggle of bikes all jostling for position and very tight on the entry to turn 2.
Jeremy Crow, one to watch here today. Likewise, Sean Geronimi, the Sydney Mesh and Steel team, really having a good run. You see Waters in there as well aboard the Kawasaki. They drop over the top of the Suzuki Hill.
Don't discount Jason O'Halloran too on board the 7 bike. Always very, very strong in this class.
Look at him just peeling into this corner. 3 and 4 wide. This very much the stepping stone to either international Supersport competition or into Superbikes. Look at this shot of Aitchison. Doesn't get any better than that.
And then ducked down, trying to maximise his wind resistance through the air. Now down through turn 8 once again. He'll jump up in a sec. Yep, there he goes. Under brakes into turn 9.
Just incredible how close they get to the ground. It rushes by, doesn't it? The 88 bike just running through there as well. Judd Greedy having a very good ride. Sam Smith, the Kiwi, we just saw there. Look at him, line astern into Honda.
Just caught a shot of the 16 bike of Zach Davies, the rider from New South Wales, who's sitting middle of this pack at the moment, pushing as hard as he can, trying to work his way forward.
Gareth Jones also in this little battle. They come down the main straightaway now. Line astern, who is going to break the draft and be able to split out? Look at the size of this field as they come down into turn 1. And at the moment, it's Mark Aitchison leading, doing a good job.
Yeah, looks comfortable at the moment, doesn't he? Rockets to it down towards turn 2. Now the gap's bridged ever so slightly by Crow, who's come up and said, hey, I'm here, I want to play.
The rapid Yamaha, Sydney Mesh and Steel bike, really starting to fly. It's good for his confidence too, for him to really start to have a crack at the race leader. Look at Acho. How much lower can the kid get on the bike?
That's the key to it all, isn't it? Get right down over the top of the tank and let absolutely no wind resistance hit you in the face and slow you down. Each time you get up on the bike, it can cost you a lot of time.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Tenths of a second, and when you add them all up over the course of a lap, you can get into some disastrous situations.
Jason O'Halloran sitting back there in third spot, just watching this battle up front. He wants to keep an eye on what's going on behind too. Jamie Stoper getting ever so close and looking like he wants to get past.
Once again, this battle of 4. Look at that, great shots there at the visors. You can see the ripple strip reflection in their visor. That's how clear our shots are. The battle for first, second, third, fourth and fifth is a screamer. And then you go back to 6th. There's 3 bikes going at it there as well. Acho is your leader, the man that's carrying her on board. And there is O'Halloran. They've come together a couple times, those two.
Yeah, onto the start finish straight. Look at this, the front 5 still within striking distance of each other. Even though Mark Aitchison's trying to do everything he can to pull a gap, there's still nothing between them.
Stouffer yet to break through into the top 3. He's playing rear gunner at the moment for O'Halloran. Now he starts to turn it up. Was that someone wide there off the turn? Yeah. They may have gotten by.
Well, look at this.
It is. The 41 bike went way wide just then, so Crow has gone a little slower. He's gone back to 4.
He's got a problem. In fact, you can see he doesn't have any of the speed that he had earlier on in this race. And while that's going on, Mark Aitchison, this man, is able to just concentrate on his lines and pull away and let those behind him fight for the scraps.
That's his clutch just up ahead there. You just see him working that clutches with one finger just to keep the bike balanced.
It's amazing, isn't it? There he goes, 2
back
fingers
through the
that
box
time.
Oh, it's great stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look at that. Look how close the ground is rushing by. This beautiful Yamaha racing team with always support from Caprice, supplying their beautiful grid girls. We're always appreciative of that.
Yeah, you are.
Whoa! Big get off! Big get off. I think it's Crow. No, it's Sean Geronimi, Crow's teammate.
Wow, that was massive. The bike went end over tail and landed in the sand trap. Now, I hope that everything should be A-OK at that part of the circuit. He would have come off and slid and it would have looked more spectacular than vicious to his body. That's the hope anyway.
Yeah, let's hope so. Sean Geronimi, very rarely do you see him part company with the bike, especially through Corporate Hills, not a place where guys crash a great deal. We'll come back to that as we now see Jamie Stouffer having a crack at Jason O'Halloran up the inside. Stouffer through into second place.
Yeah, nothing O'Halloran could do about that. He needed to get out of the gas and concentrate on his line because that inside line was taken. He's going to fight back into turn 2. Gets the back of the bike moving around a little bit. Now he comes under pressure from Jeremy Crow.
Here is your Yamaha Replay. Stouffer up the inside on that number 7. I just get the feeling that Geronimi was pushing very hard in the last lap, starting to make some ground and become sort of the 5th part of that battle for the lead. Maybe he was just pushing a bit too hard. There it is, the bike gyrating. That bike will be almost completely destroyed, I would think. O'Halloran trying to come back and does on Jamie Stouffer.
Beautiful line down there into turn 2. and he's been able to pick up that spot. But can he pull away, or is this battle going to continue right to the checkered flag?
You get the feeling that Stouffer is mindful of his Superbike commitments today because he's already wrapped up the Supersport Championship. Just thinking about it, he doesn't want to throw himself down the road and injure himself with his Superbike commitments today, trying desperately to wrap up that championship as well.
He's a racer though, isn't he? He's a competitive guy that really didn't go out there to finish second. Has a brief look over the shoulder. This is how the overtaking manoeuvre happened. O'Halloran straight down the inside, held the line. There was nothing Stouffer could do about that once he was lined up. Decides to sit back in second, and we'll work it out at some other part of the circuit.
Yeah, well, Jamie gave him plenty of room. No point squabbling too hard about it. Here is man doing it all out in front. Mark Aitchison got the SPY sticker on the side of the helmet just there. Tells me he's got a cool sunglass and goggle deal.
I love the view from the other side too, when you can see him getting on the brake and the accelerator, the way they feed the gas on these bikes. Fantastic to watch.
Here comes this good little battle for second, third and fourth. It's O'Halloran, Stouffer and Jeremy Crow, the rapid Yamaha. He's a rapid rider, all right, this young fella. Really starting to come on with it. They get down and start to work the business end of the deal now. We're getting down towards the end of this first race of the YMF Loans Australian Supersport Championship. Last lap, Stouffer.
You could see that coming a mile off, couldn't you? Stouffer ducked right down, got into the slipstream, lined himself up, pulled out at the right time, but it's not over yet. O'Halloran back up the inside under brakes. He gets through, and Jeremy Crow saying, I've got to find a way past. Open the door up, let me in.
Here they go, last lap. It's a real battle royal. Your race leader has skipped away. Atchison, bit of a fire happening in the background there too, to see a bit of smoke. Oh, Crow on the inside of Stouffer.
Nice move, straight up the inside, and scrape pegs there too. You can see all the dust flying. That was leaning it over as hard as he possibly could. In fact, I think it's come off his knee guard. Around the back section of the circuit. This is no longer a bike race. This is a battle for the title.
It's a bare knuckle brawl, really,
yeah, really. It's just like watching heavyweight fighters going at toe-to-toe.
A pub brawl here at Eastern Creek Raceway on R6s. Your race leader is Atchison. He's got a handy buffer. Stouffer just trying to come back at Crow and keep himself upright.
Oh!
Down goes Crow. A mix of sparks and leather left on the racetrack. And the people in the pitch just looking up to see Crow skidding down the racetrack. There goes a certain top four.
Oh, how disappointing was that? He was riding a great race right up until that point. Mark Aitchison, speaking of great races, he will come down across the start-finish line, take the checkered flag in front of O'Halloran, and then Jamie Stouffer in third spot in front of Judd Creedy and Gareth Jones in fifth. Zach Davies sixth, Josh Waters and Brendan Clark rounding out the eight.
I think everyone was struggling a little bit out there. I was struggling a little bit for rear grip, but I think that was just the heat in general, and we'll see what comes about this afternoon. There's a little bit of wind coming up now, so we'll go back to the drawing board, see what we can come up with.
So here we are for the last roll of the dice. Round 7 of the YMF Loans Australian Superbike Championship. And it has all come down to this. Sydney's Eastern Creek Raceway. Plenty of glamour. And two men fighting it out for a championship today. Stouffer and Holland, the only two with a mathematical chance of victory. Here is your grid for race 1. Stouffer, Giles already back on the money. Johnson, Bugden, Holland, Etheridge, Brian Starring, Glenn, Allerton, Maxwell, Stroud, Charlton, Gorosky, Gibson, Rowe, Oldendale, back to Spencer as well. An enormous field here, Grant Boyden. A championship to be played out today, and it's already rumour mill time for the new teams.
Absolutely. Stroud a long way back in qualifying. He'll need to work hard, particularly over the first couple of laps, to battle out that championship. And away they go. It's game on for the final time.
Shannon Johnson off to a brilliant start on the Kawasaki. He'll drop back to third as we go into turn 1.
Giles got a beautiful line down into turn 1, very determined and committed.
On board with Scotty Charlton, one of the most vastly improved young riders on the scene today on the Tarmac Constructions entry. Back through turn number 3 they run, past the Yamaha air fence. Everyone's starting to sort themselves out. And we're on board with Robbie Bugden, the team Yoshimura Suzuki, his last ride for Yoshimura Suzuki this year and possibly for the future.
Yeah, well, let's hope he gets back out onto the circuit in the not-too-distant future, because he's a great talent and always exciting to watch out there.
Interesting to see Brian Starring already going for the Honda colours. He's a signed rider for Joe Rocket Honda for next year. He's already gone the fluorescent red colours of the Honda team to get himself bedded in. We're on board with Stroud.
Yeah, the question with Starring is why? Why has it taken so long? He has shown so much talent for so long. Good to see that he's been given a little bit of a chance.
Here he is, right behind Glenn Allerton. You know Allerton would love to finish in front of Brian today, just for his own pride. Allo moving on for the Joe Rocket team for next year. Likewise, Adam Ferguson. So a big broom has swept through the Joe Rocket workshop for next year.
There's only one constant in superbike racing, and that is that things will change. You can guarantee it.
Absolutely.
Every year is the same.
Well, there is Russell Holland, a sensational young rider, has not got the best of starts. Here is our Yamaha Replay right now at Eastern Creek Raceway as they peel through. Holland working hard there. As usual, the Kawasaki of Waters starting to feature in this one as well. Maxwell always tough to beat.
Tough in turn one, particularly on cold tyres. Look at this side by side, this battle. There's plenty to fight for out here.
Whoa, Holland creeping the bike into the corner. Brakes hooked right up through Brother Bend. And of course the big news too is that young Russell Holland will move into the Joe Rocket Honda team. So big things for him as well. Has done a wonderful job as a privateer team with some factory assistance. And they're starring on the Konica Minolta bike.
What do you reckon's going on in this dice at the moment? Glenn Allerton just in front of Brian Starring. Those two absolutely nose to tail around the circuit. Starring getting very loose, had to get up out of the saddle.
Big wriggle up through Trading Post. Just then you can see Stroud is in behind them. Here he is now.
Oh, just got out onto the white line. Through these final turns on the start-finish straight, it gives you an idea of the physical movement that these guys need to go through. You need to be very, very fit in this class.
Wow, he just pulled out and blew by the Kawasaki going into turn one. So Shannon Johnson goes a spot back. Bugden with plenty of things to prove today. Charging hard down into turn two, but here comes Johnson back. Can he get there under brakes? No. Good ride, Robbie B.
Robbie was very late. You could see the bike squirming around as he tried to maintain grip, but manages to hold on to it, riding with a great deal of determination in this final round. They say the most important thing to do is win the last race of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And now you can see Holland starting to close in as well. Russell Holland, the Demolition Plus Honda for Pirelli tyres. Chasing hard as Shannon Etheridge in there as well. Tainton, there's a lot of guys really charging hard. Allerton, Maxwell, Stroud. How unlucky the Kiwi this week.
Oh.
A chin-up accident.
Yes, can't believe it. Was doing chin-ups off the branch of a tree when the branch gave way and caused him all sorts of problems. What an incredible disappointment for his final round.
A painful, excruciatingly uncomfortable knee injury is the result, so he's riding today under a lot of duress.
Bet you he buys a chin-up bar next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Might be using the agriculture for that anymore, I would think. Robbie B, meanwhile, charging hard.
Holland.
Johnson is sandwiched in the middle. Watch for Starring to pull out on Johnson.
Straight side by side, clean up the inside.
Actually, it was Maxwell on the Kawasaki, my mistake. Look at this here. Look at Starring now. Working on Allerton. Look at that. Sideways all the way in. What a ride.
Beautifully controlled. He's just run a little bit wide. That's allowed the opposition a sneak of a chance up the inside, but not to be. The door firmly shut by Brian Starring.
That was probably 30 metres worth of slide here. Watch this, where he prepares the bike for the corner. Back now, he's sliding there. Look at that.
Yep.
Look at the bike control. Gee, you think Joe Rocket Honda know a bit of talent?
I think they're sitting there at the moment saying next year is going to be an absolute ripper.
The only thing that he's really had going against him, he's been down the road a few times without the bike. This year has probably been peppered with some disappointment, but they can see obvious talent.
As you say, you can always slow a rider down, but it's very hard to make them quick.
The 71 bike of Stroud, look at this. Branching out, you might say. Lead for a pass on Maxwell and does so.
Struggling at the moment. Maxwell is being caught by quite a few competitors now. They seem to have just a little bit more, perhaps tyre issues or set up on the rear suspension and getting the power down because they're grabbing him left, right and centre, Wado.
Here is the Yamaha Replay, Boydo, and up the inside, the brother Sangyong Suzuki of Stroud goes by the Kawasaki. There is Stroud, the man we talk about, all right behind the Honda through trading post. So Stroud making a big run now on Glenn Allerton.
Got plenty of movement there. The back of the bike starting to move around. Oh, speaking of moving around.
Someone down. Scotty Charlton running very wide here on the Tarmac Constructions bike. Look out, tyre wall.
No, he's pulled it up in time.
Jeez, look at that.
Just in time.
Absolutely. Well, he's parking the bike by the looks of things, so might be dramas. So look at Charlton. Whoa! That's what's happened right there. It's Rowe, I think, on the number 30 bike. Right near the air fence, too. You always think carefully about where they place the air fence. It does its job. Down the main straightaway, Holland. A lonely ride for Russell. If Jamie Stouffer wins this race, it's all over.
Wow, look at that man. His head's down as low as he can get, using his body to its maximum down the start-finish straight. Now leans in through turn one. Nothing better than watching a superbike launch its way around the Eastern Creek circuit. No wonder the riders like coming here.
Whoa! Big trouble here for Maxwell. Looks like he might have cooked the engine big time.
Well, it wasn't power down issues or suspension, was it? It was an engine problem, and he had it from the get-go.
Did you see all the fluid pouring out of the bike too? Have a look towards the front wheel, and when this thing goes to pull up, it is absolutely pouring Kawasaki tears all over the tarmac. Red flag is out.
Yeah, not
Is this
surprised.
what Holland needed?
Not surprised at all.
This would have been a dangerous situation. There is Rowe's bike down. There is Scotty Charlton disappointed. Restart now, minus Maxwell. Good start for the Yoshimura boys, but can they hold back Stouffer?
And the officials have done a great job in cleaning up this circuit to get it ready for race conditions again. The riders are happy. Let's see how this one pans out.
Well, at the moment, it's Jamie Stouffer back in the lead. Holland, he desperately needed something like this.
Stroud squeezed for room too.
Oh, look at that, Holland's going to do it on the other side. Here's the replay. Giles and Stroud might have crept off the line a bit there, Boydo.
Yeah, let's leave it to the officials to decide, but it certainly doesn't look good on the video evidence, but we can't see the light, so that's the big thing. The race continues on nonetheless, and it'll all be sorted out later.
The Roman Racing Honda right in the middle of all this is Holland. You're watching Shannon Johnson trying to creep forward as well.
And Allerton pushing hard too, Wade. Look at that on the 34 machine.
Needs a big ride here today, as you said. It's a long off season when you don't crack at least a top three to go and hang your helmet on at the end of the year. There is Shannon Johnson, Mr. Excitement, around the outside here. Should be able to put the Kawasaki up a little further. No, couldn't make it stiff.
I'll tell you what, that was a good effort by Shannon Johnson, showing absolute commitment and trust in his motorcycle. He knew how much grip was there on this opening lap. He was prepared to push it to its absolute limit.
But every guy in this field, the top 10 at least, are all sensational young cracking riders that just love to get after it and go for the second twist of the grip. Look at this battle here. That's for 5th place, that battle. And 4 of them going at it.
And they're always going to be intense. Have a look at this. Giles in the slipstream, is he? Closes in, but no, can't make it work. Has to sit back there and right behind his teammate and push hard.
How good to see the Lithgow lightning bolt back.
Here he goes.
Sean Giles.
Up out of the seat at massive speed through turn one. Well, that didn't wake him up. Nothing else will.
Allerton sideways into the corner. I just love these guys. They're just so brave, so talented, and so precise with their bikes. Watch Allerton at the top of your screen. Look at that.
Beautiful.
No way
control.
Those wheels are in line.
But look at this, he manages to come across, pick it. You think he's run wide, you think there's every chance that Andrew can get back up the inside. No, grabs the apex of the corner and really puts the pressure on Andrew.
That's because they're superhumans, mate. That's all there is to it. Shannon Johnson through in training post and starring right behind with Glenn Allerton there as well. So Shannon Johnson putting together a pretty good ride here. The second part of this race number 1, and Shannon Johnson doing as much as he can to run down the Yoshi boys, but Jamie Stouffer in front and riding away with this championship, looking to make it the dynamic double.
Robbie Bugden there with his teammate right behind for Sean Giles. Those two pushing each other and trying to encourage each other to go forward. You notice they're not getting caught up in any major dicing between each other in the hope that they can track down Jamie Stouffer. The time's starting to tick, 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 tick away.
Oh, Allerton super sideways as he gets on the pedal a little early, desperately trying to get a run at Starling, which he does. Allo on the inside.
A run, it was like, oh wow, look at that, the back of the bike jumping out on the approach to turn 1. That is bravery.
I love these guys. How good are they? Oh,
he's still
again.
going on. He's still going on. He's watched his teammate do it and he's saying, I'll have a go at this, it looks like a lot of fun. Watch the back of this bike jump around just on the approach to the fastest part of the circuit. Bang, there it is. Oh, that is ludicrous.
230, 240 k's an hour with the tail out. Yep, no problems.
I'd fall off just in fear.
Here is Charles, just ahead of Robbie B. Back then to Shannon Johnson on the Kawasaki. They're all trying to chase down Jamie Stouffer. It's been a watershed year for the young man from Pelham in New South Wales, looking to make it the double, winning the Supersport and Superbike Championship, and surprisingly, that's happened a fair bit in recent years.
The funny thing is, Wade, when those guys get off the bike after doing something that dramatic, they did, yeah, it was okay, it's fine.
Completely under control.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Here he is, the man has been the pace setter all year. Certainly Russell Holland has given him plenty of curry. They come back to training post here. This is it. Jamie Stouffer on his way to wrapping up the 2006 Australian Superbike Championship. Well done. What a phenomenal ride, Jamie Stouffer. The new champ is in town.
Yeah, he deserves it. He is a massive talent. There are the results of race 1. Bugden in 2nd, Shannon Johnson 3rd, Sean Giles, Russell Holland, Brian Starring in the mix as well.
All year we just clicked straight away, and it's a team. The R1's an excellent bike. It's the tyres, Dunlop tyres, Owen suspension, everything we use, and like I said, I'm a very small part of winning this championship, and a lot of all the mechanics and everyone who's involved in getting me here is they're every bit as important as me.
Well, it's the final Supersport race of the year for YMF Loans. It's going to be a cracker. We know that much already. Here we go. Atchison Crow is back out there. Stouffer and O'Halloran. Sean Geronimi there. He's lining back up. Well, his grid position is there. So, wow, what a big ride from him to be back after that big get-off in race 1, Boydo.
Yeah, look at this field. 25 competitors out there. And, wow, it's looking strong. Ready to go for the second race on the card. Front row gets away reasonably well. Just one of them bogging down. That was on the inside, but he's fighting back as they go towards turn 1.
Well, the way to make sure you're not scared after a big crash like that if you're Sean Geronimi is just to charge to the top 5 by turn 1. What a ride from the kid. Straight up into the top 5 position. 4 wide into turn 2. That was big.
That got very tight on the approach to turn 2 there, but they've all sorted themselves out and, more importantly, stayed upright.
So a big field of riders. Race number 2, final race of the year for Supersport. And Mark Atchison desperate to wrap up second on this magnificent R6. Again, we show you breathtaking onboard pictures.
Just one finger on the clutch there as he works his way around the back section of the circuit. Look how much the handlebars are moving around.
I was just watching that too, the vibration. Quite incredible. That is Greedy. Runs a bit light right there. Judd Greedy on the Red Wing Honda Clearmake Dickie's entry. And Stouffer right up behind the Rapid Yamaha as they come down this tight right-hander that brought Jeremy Crow undone in the previous race.
Yeah, let's hope we don't see a repeat of that because he was doing oh so well right up until that last lap of the race. But sometimes you need to push ever so hard, and it just caught him out.
Atcho working the box, just going underneath the power lines here at Eastern Creek Raceway. Beautiful pictures, our onboards. Look how quick the Ripple Strip races by.
Look how quick everything races
that's right.
by.
Just incredible, isn't it? Your race leader, I think, is still Atchison. Back then to a really good ride from Crow, and here comes Jamie Stouffer to the inside.
Straight through, nothing that can be done about that by Jeremy Crow. He loses the spot, but will he have a go back into turn 2? If he's able to bridge the gap, no, it doesn't look like he's going to be able to, and that may allow Stouffer the chance to close in on Mark Atchison and really start to apply the blowtorch.
Judd Greedy, the number 99 bike, news coming through. He is out. We saw him run wide earlier. as a result, unfortunately, Judd is a dud in this one. He's had big problems with his bike. What a shame. He's a great young rider. 16 bike making a bit of a charge up inside just then as well. That's Zach Davies.
Go Zach, a nice little overtaking manoeuvre, moves him forward into the top 5. Oh, look at that, push and shove coming onto the start-finish straight.
Gareth Jones not scared to get in there and have a good go through trading post. This is beautifully turned out, the 16 bike, that is for sure. In fact, all these guys do a very good job with the preparation of their bikes. Here is Acho back on board as the power lines go blowing by here at Eastern Creek Raceway. The backdrop a blur.
Now you just watch how he tries to smooth everything out, and that's the quick way around the circuit. Although it looks violent from where we stand, it's all about making it nice and smooth, feeding the power on, getting on the brakes at the right time as hard as you can, but at the same time, not doing anything like this.
That was close, wasn't it? Really had a good nibble.
Could have ended ugly.
Hold on tight, folks, because we're on board with Mark Atchison, who's giving us a wonderful perspective of how busy you are on one of these beautiful R6s. Look how far he leans out into the corner. Not just over, but out towards the corner.
Oh, look at this dice. Would you have a go at this? Chris Quinn, right there on the 82 bike in the centre of this, has got plenty of work to be doing.
Haven't seen much of our mate Rico Partouche in this one. We're hoping to see how he would fare. Lacking a little bit in the budget department. Tomasetti, he's in there now as well. And likewise Grant Hay on the Terry Hay shock treatment entry, starting to close in as well. This is a good little battle here.
Yeah, Tomasetti really working on Chris Quinn, pushing him as hard as he can. The two New South Welshmen keeping each other very, very honest there. It's the final spot in the top 10 that they're battling for.
Brendan Clark, there he is on the 49 bike, trying desperately hard to get by the Kawasaki. Can he get up the inside? No. Denied there. Josh Waters, the Kawasaki racing team, ZX6RR, just leading Brendan Clark, who's all over him as they go into Honda.
Like a cheap suit, isn't he? Look at him, working him over. This is good racing between these two. The 21 machine making its way through the left-hander onto the start-finish straight. Now let's see how they're going to go in the straight-out run towards turn 1.
Clark desperately just trying to stay close enough to get out of the draft. Here he comes now, BC. Good ride, straight past Waters in a straight line. Josh will have to reassess the situation and try and come back into turn number 2. Let's see if he can manage that, but Brendan's got a great lead now. He really opens up that battle.
Josh just got a wheel out onto the dirt coming onto the start-finish straight, and that's what cost him the top-end speed. You can see Clark just rounded him up before they even got to the start-finish line and probably had about 3-4 kilometres an hour on him by that stage.
Pretty damning YMF Loans replay just then, that's for sure. The Capri sticker on the dark visor of Atchison. They've done a great job decorating the grid up for the Yamaha racing team this year, that is for sure. Well, the word coming through, Josh Waters has also got some trouble. The Kawasaki rider out of the event, so that may explain a little as to why Clark went blazing by just there.
Yeah, that's disappointing for Josh. He was looking at wanting to have a good campaign this weekend, but not to be. This is this battle we were looking at earlier on. Sam Smith, Chris Quinn and Alex Tomasetti all battling for the same piece of real estate, and that is the 9th, 10th and 11th spots out there on the circuit.
Yeah, it's just to show you how competitive this category really is. You can race your backside off for like 18th position. It's just madness, isn't it?
Have a go. Christopher Seaton now coming up behind Brendan Clark and pushing him to the absolute limit.
Well, Seaton's been pretty impressive as well. He's had some banzai rides in the last couple of rounds, so his confidence is certainly being done no harm as he chases down Brendan Clark here on the main straightaway at Eastern Creek. Not many laps left in this one. The final Supersport race of the year. The championship wrapped up in round 6 by Jamie Stouffer. That's how dominant he was early.
I tell you what, the R6 is the bike to be on, isn't it? The top 7 spots being held down by the Yamaha, and Seaton's Kawasaki, the only other manufacturer in the top 8.
Well, and Judd Greedy had the only Honda. The CBR RR was on the pace, but unfortunately Judd has struck issues, so the Honda goes out the door, and there is the Kawasaki you speak of Christopher Seaton as they drop down over the top of Suzuki Hill.
And looks like Brendan Clark now able to pull away almost at will. Looks like he's protected his tyres a little bit better and made them last the full distance. This man now sets sail on his final lap as you ride with him down through turn 1. That's what it's like.
You ride with him, I'm not. See, that's frightening, isn't it, how quick they are?
Oh, yeah.
And to them, it's just an everyday occurrence. It's what you do when you get on one of these machines. It feels so cold and so foreign and so just incredibly heartless, these bikes, but ridden with such passion by brilliant young men.
This has been a great little dice right from the get-go in this race. It's Alex Tomasetti still working on Chris Quinn. Oh, gets a very good run through the final group of turns too. He might make this count.
Here they come. Checkered flag is not too far away. Through training post they run. What a day this man has had. Mark Atchison on the Yamaha racing team R6. No one within cooey of this guy.
5.5 seconds on the previous lap. That's the gap between first and his teammate back there in second, Jamie Stouffer. He has just rocketed away.
Well, he's done a wonderful job. He's been in good form, no doubt. This should pretty well secure his position in the championship standings. Bit of a wheelie there.
Yeah, he's happy about it too, isn't he?
Bit of time to enjoy it, the experience. He's certainly got a little bit of time up his sleeve, so sits right up over the bike for that left-hander. He's a busy boy on this machine. Here he comes towards the main straightaway. Will it be wheelie time or will it be coast across the line time?
Well, we'll soon see. It is Mark Aitchison out in front. He sits up. It's a coast. And oh, yeah, he gives the crew a round of applause as he crosses the line to complete the season. Mark Aitchison with the win over Jamie Stouffer, Jeremy Crow, Jason O'Halloran, Zach Davies, Gareth Jones, Brendan Clark.
Probably didn't start the best way for myself individually, but the team as a whole worked together and we salvaged what we could, and we've come up with second place in the championship, and as you said, we've done our second double.
And so here's your points after the round, and well done, Jamie Stouffer. Mark Aitchison secures second with a great ride today. O'Halloran in third, back to Crow, Allenton, Waters, Geronimi and Starring.
Yeah, I feel great. It's a big load off my shoulders, and it's been a long year, and we I suppose we dominated really throughout the whole year on both bikes, and that all comes down to having a good team and good tyres, good bike, good everything.
We'll be taking a quick break right now, but when we come back, the last Superbike race of the year. Don't you go away. On the grid now for race number 2, the final race of our coverage here this weekend at Eastern Creek Raceway. Sean Giles wondering what can he do with the runaway rocking horse that is Jamie Stouffer. Speaking of cool, the Sanyong Rexton vehicle is on the circuit now. Those things are very cool as well. Stouffer and Giles will square off, Johnson and Bugden as well. Still plenty of interest in the battle for third here today with Robbie Bugden and Andrew Stroud going at it, Boydo.
Yeah, and Stroud will start out of 10th spot. That's a huge disadvantage for him. Scott Charlton on that mix as well. Mark Higgins down in 18th spot and Steve Manning out of 19th. Final race of the season. It's with a great deal of sadness I say that too.
Oh, it's been a phenomenal year, no doubt about it. It's our last chance to see these guys go at it. Giles out of the hole like a rocket. Stroud, we're on board with him. Holland is just ahead.
Stroud doing everything he can to get out of harm's way, maintain consistency. He knows that that's very important. Now he starts to attack. Down the inside under brakes and makes up a spot.
Look at this field, back in the order. You can be riding your heart out. There's one of the Yoshimura Suzukis there, just with Stroud. Starring. What a start for Brian Starring. He's up to second now.
Doing a very, very good job, and keep your eyes on Jamie Stouffer as well. There he is, just caught aside of him. Onto the right-hand side of the screen, he is charging forward.
Shannon Johnson on a big ride. Shannon Johnson from 4th to 3rd to 2nd in 2 corners through training post. The Kawasaki kid making it.
Who said bike racing wasn't a full contact sport?
Absolutely. When Shannon's around, he'll certainly be going for the big rides. Here he is through on the inside just now. He's a phenomenal rider and a great young talent, this kid. Very much one of the wilder personalities of the field. Always good for a chat.
Mike just got a little bit unsettled by the Victorian, and that's why he slid almost into the opposition. Here's Higgins diving up the inside with a good overtaking manoeuvre too. Does he hold the apex? He just runs a little bit wide. That may have cost him.
Here comes Jamie Stouffer working on Brian Starring, working their way through at the moment. You see further back in the field a couple more of the Kawasaki's starting to make their way through. So interesting stuff now as Stouffer takes on Starring. Wool up the inside comes the new Australian Superbike champion.
Yeah, he is on top of the mountain at the moment. He's the king. Runs wide though, and that allows the battle to continue on down into turn 2. Oh, just had too much speed through there. Guy has an incredible amount of talent, and he's proved it right across season 2006. You know, one of the things I like about this time of year, with all the changes for next season, with all the seat swapping that's going on, the anticipation level is already fever pitch for 2007.
Yeah, we haven't even got out of this season yet. Higgins, the Lotus Bar entry, charging hard further back in the order too, with guys like Jungle Boy, Steve Manning and Stronach and guys like that. A little clear track for him to operate in here at Eastern Creek. You see the way the bike flows around this beautiful circuit. Once again, Maxwell behind Charlton. And good to see Ashley Rowe is okay after that trip down the road in race 1.
Yeah, just a minor one for Ashley Rowe, and back out there to continue and complete, hopefully, the final race of the season. Look at that, backing the bike in yet again on the 34.
There might have been Kirk McCarthy just then, who see the Joe Rocket rider come up out of the seat. Pressure is on immediately. These guys are brutal, aren't they? They see their opposition make one little mistake and they're absolutely onto it.
Absolutely. Well, that's the only chance you can get sometimes. You've got to make them count. If an opportunity presents itself, you have to have the confidence in your bike and the ability behind the handlebars to make it count.
Down Sydney's Eastern Creek's long straightaway. How about Sean Giles leading at the moment? Johnson under the blowtorch now from Stouffer. How good would it be if Sean Giles could win the last race of the year?
Yeah, it'd be a great way to do it, wouldn't it? Great close to the season. Have a go at Johnson under brakes, that bike moving around a lot. Now, Jamie will be looking at that and saying, it's just a matter of time. Gets it up on the rear wheel as he feeds the power on.
Well, I wonder what Jamie's thinking. How much do I want to pass this guy and run down Gilesy? Badly. Yeah. That would be the way to describe it.
Championship gives you a lot of confidence, though, Wade.
Yeah, that's true. Nothing to prove for Jamie.
Good.
Doesn't matter, though, does it? Straight up the inside on Shannon Johnson.
And in the end, he made it look very easy.
Here they come out of trading post once more. Shannon not going to give up without a fight, that's for sure. Here is your Suzuki replay.
Wasn't easy, however, but he's got that incredible ability to look cool, calm, and collected, sitting up there on a bike. Just snuck up the inside, and there was nothing the opposition could do about it.
Robbie Bugden has had a busy day. His final ride with the Yoshimura Suzuki team, well, at least for this year. Let's hope that down the road, perhaps the door might close if he ever comes back around that way. Whoa, just at the top of the screen, I think it was Maxwell, nearly right off the circuit. Allerton giving Stroud something to think about, and Holland in there as well.
Yeah, well, Stroud was able to pick up the spot, but Allerton fought back. Now, what Stroud really needs is Holland to get up onto his tail and cause him some grief as we go on board with Bugden side by side across the start-finish line.
Puts Brian Starring a spot further back, and Robbie B, he knows he wants third place. It's falling into his lap at the moment. You can't see Stroud at all. Starring sideways into turn 2.
He needs to push, does the Queenslander. Needs to push very hard, and he's doing that at the moment, picking up spots and already starting to pull away.
Good riding here at Eastern Creek, the final round of the YMF Loans Australian Superbike Championship. I find myself in a constant state of shock with these guys, the riding they put on. It's just awesome to watch.
Yes, Bugden squeezing the throttle there. Back of the bike just giving way under traction, controlled it nicely, probably just lost about a hundredth of a second, maybe a tenth of a second in time as the bike squirmed around, but you've got to get it right up onto the limit.
Look at the real estate now that Jamie Stouffer has eaten up with Sean Giles in front. Now, what can the Suzuki do to hold out the R1?
I think we know the answer to that, especially in the hands of Jamie Stouffer. He's trying to get up into the slipstream, but can't do it at the moment. Giles equal to the task. Look at that, nothing between the two. They rocket down through turn 1. Now into turn 2, the hard braking area. You can see what Jamie wanted to do. He wanted to get right up into the slipstream to attack now, but Giles equal to the task.
Oh, a phenomenal rider, Poido, as you know. Multiple Australian champion, highly decorated and respected amongst all his peers. Shaun Giles, badly injured in a crash at Barbagallo. It tore his whole season apart. And now, look at it now. Jamie Stouffer right behind him once more, behind that fluorescent duckbill. Here we go, the old down by the new.
Well, that's twice in the one race we've seen that same overtaking manoeuvre. He's got so much confidence in not only his own ability, but the bike. He can just really stick the bike wherever he wants at will and make it count.
I say old with complete respect for Giles. He's not exactly 50 years old or anything like that, but this was set up beautifully, where he just carried so much more speed out of the corner, which allowed him the inside run going into this left-hander. And Stouffer through. Will Giles be able to hold on? Will he even try to hold on? Here we go. Last couple of laps here at Eastern Creek Raceway.
Look at the gap he's already pulled out. That's absolutely incredible. That man, well, it's, you know, what can you've said it all. He has got so much talent, and just to be able to be ridden away from like that tells you how good that combination of Stouffer is and that bike.
2007 will be a bigger year for Shaun Giles. It'll be on his terms, I'm sure. The Yoshimura Suzuki team will regroup and come after the boys in blue. What can they do? We'll have to wait and see. Stouffer still doing the job. Here is the man looking to wrap up third today in the championship.
Yeah, look at this. He's just about to pick up another spot straight up the inside of the 42 of Shannon Johnson. Gets around the Victorian and picks up more points. That is all going to help.
Here comes Shannon trying to come back at him. Can't do much with it. The Kawasaki still not quite the superpower that they would hope it would be. They've certainly made some inroads. How close was Starring then?
That's pushing hard.
Mad, wasn't it? Right on the white line he was. And here is a good look at Bugden. Team Yoshimura Suzuki entry up the inside on Shannon Johnson. As Holland turns up the heat on Glenn Allerton.
Yeah, look at him. Nothing between the two, only half a bike length. Andrew Stroud hasn't been able to pull away. Needs to get a wriggle on for that battle for the championship. Onto the start-finish straight they come, and may even be vulnerable for a slipstream. Look at Holland coming up right up behind the 34. Straight side by side now. He's going to take it down into turn 1.
Well, there's an irony in that pass. He takes the position and takes Allerton's ride next year. So a bit of a mix-up on track and off it. Holland on the inside looking for Stroud. He left a big late apex just then, trying to get some more speed out of this Suzuki, but the Roman Racing Honda is coming on.
Did a very good job of holding that bike up. Thought that he may have just gone in a little bit too deep, but he managed to arrest some of the speed, sit up behind the 71, and now follows him, and he's just biding his time, trying to pick an area of the circuit where he's going to nail him.
They've got very different styles, these two riders, don't they? You can just see there Stroud very much sit up on the bike, very upright in his position, whereas Russell Holland all over this bike like the yellow paint that adorns it. As we see Glenn Allerton desperately trying to stay in touch with these two guys out in front.
Nothing better than a superbike in full flight on a close-up camera shot, isn't it? Look at this. Now he goes up the inside, nailed it straight through in turn 9. Nothing Stroud can do about it. In fact, had to jump out of the gas. Holland just pulling him up on the apex and giving himself some breathing space. Smart riding.
Well, it gets worse for Stroud, doesn't it? Because Robbie Bugden looking like he may well be able to put third beyond doubt in the championship overall. Glenn Allerton on the Joe Rocket Honda, his last ride with this team, as we check back and see your brother replay.
Just kept the power on down through turn 8, jumped on the anchors, was able to outbrake his opposition up the inside, and this is the important part, Wade. Right about here, he just slows the bike down, forces Andrew Stroud to get out of it. He jumps on the gas and gives himself a half-second advantage.
Well, Shannon Johnson hates being passed at the best of times.
Takes
let alone
it
by
quite
one of these
personally,
little,
doesn't he?
absolutely, let alone by one of these young rages like Brian Starring. Look at that.
Got him.
Good pass. So Shannon now having to reassess his options. Can he get by Starring in a straight line? We're moving into the last lap now for Jamie Stouffer. Shaun Giles still in second, but the battles throughout the pack, like this one, are mind-blowing. Look how easily he made this look.
Yeah, Starring just got to the inside. Unfortunately for Johnson, there's only one line through this section of the circuit. He had to get out of it, sit back and hope that on this final lap he can nail him and get back vengeance.
Scotty Charlton having a battle here with Ash Rowe. In fact, it's not, it's the 16, no, it is the 38 bike of Scotty Charlton. Had dramas in race 1 on the Tarmac Constructions bike, and this man certainly had some dramas. He did a bit of tarmac inspection, went down the road on the number 30 bike, the Warrnambool rider. Meanwhile, checkered flag not too far away for these guys. Allerton and Stroud, too wide.
Stroud needs to maintain points. It's going to be interesting at the end of this one, but Allerton is making him work for it. Tried to go around the outside in turn 3. That would have been the hard way of doing it.
Here they come, folks, well and truly into their last lap now. The Kiwi, Andrew Stroud, and that beautiful brother, SsangYong Suzuki, up the inside here. Allerton trying to get something going around the outside. He nips back up the inside here. But the Kiwi a little too shrewd to go by with that one.
Yeah, down through turn 1, he's still holding out the 34. Nothing he can do about it. There's probably only one go, and it's just about to come up. It's on the exit of turn 8. We go on board with Robbie Bugden, who'd have a little bit of a smile on his face at the moment. Only a few more turns to go for him, and checkered flag. Speaking of which, Yamaha race team, they've taken out the championship in the final race of the season. Jamie Stouffer, what a stellar season for him.
What a great year for Yamaha. They win the double. Meanwhile, back in the order, Stroud has been battling with Bugden for 3rd overall in the championship. Holland will get 2nd. Allerton, what can he do with Stroud as they come back to the line? So Stroud charging hard. Be interesting to see how the points work out in all of this. The Kiwi crosses the line ahead of Allerton. There's your results. Stouffer, Giles, Bugden, Starring, Johnson, Holland, Stroud and Allerton. The battle for 3rd. I think Bugden might have triumphed.
Yeah, it was good to get the win, and more importantly, it's good to get championship for Yamaha and Dunlop and Ireland's, and all our sponsors. They've all done really good, and my personal sponsor, Monza Imports, and like I said, it's all for them.
All I wanted to try and do is come out here and try and get a win up for the team before the end of the year. Just with the due course of the injuries, I wasn't able to, but Jamie's riding really well. You can't take it away from him. He's hard guy to chase down, but Team Yoshimura Suzuki's done a great job to get me back up to pace, and the Dunlop tyres are just working awesome. So I can't say enough about the tyres and the bike.
It's a real pity I have to hop off the Yoshimura Suzuki because I'm just starting to really enjoy it, starting to really get comfortable with it. But that's the way it goes, and full credit's got to go out to the whole Suzuki team. They've given me every opportunity all year, and it's only just now that I'm starting to really capitalise with it. But full credit to everyone, and congratulations to Sean. He's back riding well, as we all knew he would be. And big thanks to Joe Rocket, Leathers, OGK Helmets, worldalloy.com, and all my family and friends.
Well, here are the final standings. Jamie Stouffer in the end, too good for Russell Holland. Robbie Bugden by 3.5 points over Stroud. Well, congratulations to every rider and team on what has been a phenomenal year in the YMF Loans Australian Superbike Championship. And well done, of course, to the Pelor main rider, Jamie Stouffer. Congratulations.